Let's kick things off with a bang. Elden Ring Night Rain is not just another DLC. It feels like a full-blown sequel hiding in plain sight. From Software, it's not just adding a few new weapons and slapping on a boss or two. They're opening up a whole new nightmare. Gameplay-wise, we are expecting new combat mechanics, fresh gear sets, and honestly, even smarter bosses. You know how FromSoft likes to make you feel like you are good right before they knock you back down 15 notches. If you thought Millennia was the final exam, Night Rain about to give us the PhD in pain. This could end up being the gold standard for what DLC should look like: expansive, meaningful, and borderline game changing. The Lost Soul aside, this one is kinda legendary, not because it's released but because of how it was made. Lost Soul aside started as a solo developer passion project and now it's evolved into full scale, high budget RPG that feels like it was born out of pure creativity. You play as a Kazon, a quick badass with a symbiotic weapon creature named Arena who talks a lot. Think of it like if your sword could sass you back. Combat here is all about fluid motions, fast dashes, cinematic combos, air juggling enemies like you are auditioning for an anime fight scene. It's not trying to be realistic, it's trying to be cool, and it nails it. You have got these futuristic environments mixed up with lush natural settings and giant monsters that look like they were designed just to test your reflexes. And even though it's a combat heavy, here is the actual story behind it all. Something mysterious about an empire, lost technology, and maybe a few existential questions hiding beneath all the glowing swords and explosions. This one been cooking for a while, but it's shaping up to be sleeper hit in the action RPG world. Okay, this game is basically rooted in this beautiful dark fantasy version of China, dripping with style, mystery, and just enough blood to make you a little uncomfortable. You play as a doomed warrior with only 66 days to live, trying to uncover the truth behind your betrayal. That's the narrative hook, and it's a strong one. But what really sets it apart is the combat. It's incredibly fast, but not button mashy. Every dodge, parry, and slash feels calculated, like you are dancing with death. You are flipping off walls, slicing through crowds, and switching between weapons mid-fight like some kind of cursed ninja god. It's visually stunning too. Environments shift from misty bamboo forest with eerie lighting that make you want to just stand still and stare. And those mini cutscenes during fights, absolutely eye candy. It's dark, it's elegant, and it might just be one of the most stylish action RPGs we have seen in long time. Finally delivered, Assassin's Creed Shadows take us to feudal Japan, and the coolest part, you play as two completely different characters. On the one side, you got Nao, Shinobi with stealth focused gameplay that feels super old school Assassin's Creed. Rooftop walkers, silent takedowns, and smoke bombs, the whole deal. On the other side, that is Yasuki, a powerful, real-life African samurai who storms into battle with heavy armor and raw power. The duality is genius. Nao brings finesse and shadows, Yasuki brings brute force and honor, and you can switch between them depending on your mission and playstyle. Plus, the world itself absolutely breathtaking. Dynamic seasons, changing weather, interactive NPCs. This is most alive Assassin's Creed world we have ever seen. If Ubisoft nails the balance between narrative, RPG mechanics, and that satisfying stealth combat loop, this could become one of the most best entries in the series. Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. Alright, now we are getting dark. Bloodlines 2 has been through absolute chaos behind the scenes, multiple delays, developer changes, even rumors of being scrapped entirely. But somehow, it's still alive. Fitting for a game about vampires, right? You play a newly turned thin blood in modern day Seattle, a city where different vampire clans are locked in a constant power struggle. Every clan has its own culture, abilities, and of course, agenda. What's cool is about dialogue choices. Social manipulation and alliances matters just as much as combat. You can talk your way out of fights, infiltrate factions through charm or intimidation, and slowly claw your way to power. There is still plenty of neck snapping and blood drinking if that's your style. The vibe gritty neon lit streets, dive bars full of secrets, shady clubs hiding monsters in human skin. If the final product sticks the landing, this could be one of the most atmospheric, moral twisted RPG ever made. The first Berserker Kazon. Okay, imagine if God of War took place in a dark, myth-drenched Korean world and cranked the range meter to 11. That's Kazon. You play a fallen hero, once celebrated, now hunted, betrayed by the very empire you bled for. This is not a story of glory, it's a story of revenge, and it's raw. The entire world seems to hate you, and your only response is to smash through it, one brutally animated combo at a time. Combat here looks insane, heavy, deliberate. You're not just swinging weapons, you are dismembering enemies with purpose. It's a perfect mix of tight, soul like action and rage fueled spectacle. What's really interesting is how it taps into Korean mythology and lore. Stuff we don't see enough in the genre, and visually, it's grimy and beautiful at the same time. There's a sense of decay in everything, like the world itself collapsing along with your character morality. If you're into a dark narratives, combat, and underdog anti-heroes with a chip the size of a mountain on their shoulder, Kazon going to hit hard. Where wins Maid. Now we are switching gears. Wins Maid is like stepping into a Chinese painting, elegant, peaceful, but also full of sudden violence. Set during a late of Ten Kingdoms era, this game is wuxia to its core. Think crouching tiger, hidden dragon, flying swords, poetic duels, that mystical energy to everything you do. The combat is fast and fluid, but still respectful. Almost like every fight is part dance, part deathmatch. But here is the kicker. It's open world, and you are not just tossing in a generic side quest. You are actually choose different paths. You can be a warrior, a healer, a philosopher, even a wandering bard. You are not forced into life of combat. You want to live a quiet life in a village, do it. Want to become a legendary assassin, also an option. That kind of flexibility is super rare, especially in RPG rooted in specific historical periods. And the world itself, massive and reactive. Seasons change, NPCs respond to your actions, and there is deep respect for Chinese culture backed into everything. It's the kind of game where you set your pace and the story unfolds based on how you live, not just how you fight. Super refreshing. The Wayward Realms. This one, massive potential. The developer behind this are Ted Peterson and Julian Lefebvre. Yep, the same minds who helped with building the Elder Scrolls. And what they are trying to make here is nothing short of revolutionary. They are calling it a grand RPG. Think Skyrim, but with a generated world made up of 100 plus islands, each filled with girls and secrets. But it's not just the size that's insane, it's the intelligence behind it. This game adapts to who you are in the world, build a reputation, word spreads. Backstab a kingdom, expect retribution. Join a shady guild, you might find yourself locked out of noble cities. It's a world that reacts, not just scripts. Combat and magics are still a bit under wraps, but what we have seen so far suggests a deep class system, skill-based growth, and kind of old-school RPGs flavor we have been missing lately. If it delivers, the Wayward Realms could be the next generation of immersive sim RPGs where every player ends up with completely different story. Alright, this one, it's like playing a dream, and not the peaceful kind where you are floating, more like kind where you wake up and ask, what just happened and why I am crying. Neverness to Everness is a indie RPG that's flying under the radar, but it's loaded with potential. The game leans into surreal, psychological storytelling where your journey is not just across lands, but through your own mind. You are a traveler drifting between strange worlds, each one representing fragmented pieces of identity, emotion, and memory. Visually, it's like Journey meets Disco Elysium. With a touch of Lavender Dali, landscapes melt, morph, and shift based on decisions you make. There is no hand-holding here, you are encouraged to get lost. Combat and mechanics are very symbolic, dialogues is used like weapon, conversations become puzzles, word literally shape the world around you. This is not kind of RPG you play for loot or level ups. It's a game you feel if you are into narratives that make you reflect, questions reality, and maybe stare into the void a little. This one's gonna stick with you long after the credits roll. Okay, hear me out. We have had Game of Thrones games before, and most were, let's just say, they didn't exactly set the world on fire. But King's Road, this one might finally do it franchise justice. Instead of retelling the show or the books, King's Road takes a smarter road. You create your own noble houses during the chaos of Westeros. You can choose your banners, your values, your alliances, and then you dive into backstabbing political hellscape we all secretly love. You are not a Jon Snow or Daenerys, you are you, a minor lord or lady trying to climb the ladder. That means negotiating marriages, managing resources, keeping your bannermen loyal, and deciding deciding whether to follow honor or embrace pure ruthless ambition. The RPG mechanics lean heavily into strategy and consequences. Every small decision can snowball. Backstabbing one ally might secure a short-term gain but ruin your house future. And yes, there are dragons, but you better believe there is a cost. It's got that mix of deep roleplay, political drama, and tactical gameplay that could finally capture what makes Westeros tick. Fingers crossed it lives up to the hype. Now, Ballad of Antara. Now, here is a title that feels like it was pulled straight from a mythical song. And honestly, the game plays like one too. You play as a wielder, someone who can shift between two realms, the physical world and dreamlike alternative. They're filled with ancient spreads, broken timelines, and lost long memories. You are constantly switching perspectives between multiple characters, all tied together by this tragic, poetic narrative. What makes it stand out is not just the dual realm mechanic, but how your actions in one world deeply affect the other. It's not just a gimmick, it's a core part of the story and puzzle solving. Imagine helping someone in the dream world and seeing their real life trauma unravel. Combat has that souls-like weight, but it's more fluid and magic heavy. Think elemental weaving, phantom blades, summons, time manipulation, this kind of stuff that makes you feel powerful but always vulnerable. It's shaping up to be one of those games that doesn't just deliver a good time but a lasting memory. Clare Obscure Expedition 33. Okay, now this one is visually jaw-dropping. Like seriously, go look at a screenshot and try not to stare. Clare's Obscure Expedition 33 throws us into the world where art literally kills. Every year, a mysterious painter paints names into the sky and everyone on that list dies. You are a part of an expedition to climb this impossible mountain and put an end to madness. It's got turn-based combat, but not in traditional sense. It's a real-time blended with turn-based mechanics, so you are aiming spells manually, dodging in the middle of enemy turns, and timing your attacks to perfection. Every battle feels more like a rhythm game meets tactical chess. But the real magic is the world. It's a surreal, giant statue that bleed ink, cities crumbling under floating brush strokes, and enemies that look like twisted art pieces brought to life. It's like you're fighting inside a dream crafted by a mad painter. The themes hit hard too. Legacy, fear of death, the price of beauty. This one of those games where everything means something, and even the smallest line of dialogue can break your heart if you're paying attention. Alkaist. Now this one, sleeper hit vibes all over it. Alkaist comes from a studio that really into alchemy and philosophical storytelling, and it shows. You are not just some knight swinging a sword, you are diving into the science of magic, like literally rebuilding the world with knowledge, not just brute force. You play as an alchemist, basically on a mission to restore balance to a world torn apart by, well, alchemy gone wrong. The game weaves in real-world mystical elements like transmutation circles, elemental theory, and the old equal exchange rule we all learned from Fullmetal Alchemist. But it's not clone, it's got deeper and darker. Mechanically, it's a mix of real-time action and spellcraft where you build and modify your own magic using components you gather in the world. Want to freeze time and explore enemies in midair? You can. If you have studied the right runes, want to heal your allies using crystallized energy from fallen beasts, you better understand the ritual. It's all about experimental and discovering. It's RPG storytelling but layered with layers, definitely one of the thinkers and tinkerers. Next one is Soulframe. You know how Warframe is all sleek sci-fi ninjas in space? Soulframe is like its spiritual twin, but in a world of ancient nature and myth. This one takes everything that worked with Warframe, fluid movement, deep lore, fast-paced combat, but turns it inside out. Instead of space-aging technology, you have got enchanted armor, living weapons, and this rich world feels like a mashup of Celtic folklore, Miyazaki dreams, and ancient environmental spreads. You play as a warrior brought back from death to defend the natural world from corruption. And it's not just about combat. You bond with creatures, from pacts with spirits, and explore a realm that's alive in every sense of the word. For a shift where you walk, ruins whisper secrets, combat is still slick, but it's more deliberate. You are using melee weapons imbued with old power and spells that manipulate the environment like growing vines mid-fight to trap enemies, summoning a ghost wolf to track your target. There is this overgrown beauty to everything. If Warframe was high-tech chrome, Soulframe is weathered stone and moonlight moss. It's the perfect vibe for players craving magic, myth, and something deeply rooted in nature. Okay, if you have ever wanted to live, build, and conquer like a Viking, not just swing axes for loot, Vikings Dynasty is calling your name. This is not just another Viking hack and slash, it's a settlement building, survival based RPGs where you are carving out your own legacy in a brutal Norse world. Starting as a lone warrior, survive your first winter, hunt your food, build your cabin, and then slowly create an entire village under your rule. You will recruit people, assign jobs, manage resources, and decide how your clan interact with rival factions, diplomacy or domination. It's your call. There's even dynamic family systems, so you can literally build a dynasty that lasts generations. But it's not just town sim stuff. There's exploration, battle with beasts from Norse myth, trolls, and of course, big raids where you and your band of warriors take long boats across the sea to pillage like the old days. It's grounded and immersive with a strong focus on realism. You're always one harsh winter or laid away from losing it all. If you love Viking culture and the idea of rising from nobody to legend, this one's it. Next one is Monster Hunter Wilds. This one needs no introduction, but we are gonna give it one anyway. Monster Hunter Wilds is the next evolution of the franchise and they are going all in. Capcom basically giving us the living, breathing ecosystem. The world is wild and unpredictable. Sandstorms roll in mid-hunt, monsters fight each other dynamically. Herds migrate across the map based on time of day. It's less about chasing a scripted monster and more about existing in this wild ecosystem where you are both predator and prey. Weapons are getting reworks, new mechanics are coming, and the monsters, oh man, bigger, meaner, and smarter. One moment you are fighting with a massive beast in the desert, next moment it drags you into a sand whirlpool and you are dodging death by skin of your teeth. And get this, there is now mountable companions. Not just for travel, but for combat mobility too. Ride into battle, leap off mid-sprint, and land a charged greatsword swinging on a weaven head. It's a monster hunter, but finally unleashed. If Capcom delivers on what they are teasing, this might be one of the most immersive, reactive, and adrenaline-fueled entries in the entire series. Fallen Feathers is a dark action RPG set in the late Ming Dynasty, but it's not historical, it's haunting. You play as Wuchang, a warrior cursed with ornithopy, a disease that slowly turns people into a monstrous bird-like beings. Yep, it's a freaking and fascinating as it sounds. As the disease spreads, so does madness, and the world reflects it. Towns twist, people mutate, enemies are half-avian nightmares. Your character is constantly battling the corruption within, and the choices you make directly affect how much of your humanity you can hold on to. Combat is brutal, strategic and stylish, dual swords, ritual magic, parries that feel like poetry. It sounds like in all best ways, but with a cultural flair that feels totally fresh. And visually, gothic horror meets eastern mysticism. It's dripping in atmosphere. There is mystery, lore, terrifying bosses, and a protagonist that slowly turns into the thing she's trying to fight. It's dark, it's beautiful, it's going to stick with you. So there you have it, 17 most unique, mind-bending, emotionally rich RPGs coming your way. Some are dark, some are beautiful, and some are chaotic. But every single one of doing something bold. Whether you are into fast-paced action, slow burn stories, world building, or games that just make you feel there is something in here that will hit that sweet spot. If you enjoyed this list, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments which one are you most hyped for. And hey, if I missed a hidden gem you think deserve a spotlight, drop it below. I might just cover it next time. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time. Peace out.